All right, all right. Happy New Year. It's late. It's 15th of January after a long break from doing videos. Not planned at all whatsoever. Um, this country, Ireland, went back into a lockdown, so all the kids were off school. So nobody went back to school after Christmas holidays, and therefore the house has not been conducive to productivity in that sense. So that's my excuse, and that's what I'm sticking to. All right. Hope you gals and guys are in good shape, in reasonable shape. I myself, I'm in good shape, in reasonable shape, apart from distinct lack of sleep and kind of, I think, the beginnings of some sort of illness, whatever it is. Not COVID. I haven't been anywhere. I haven't seen anybody. There's nowhere to go, and there's no one to see. So, hey, what are you going to do? All right. I'm going to get into it and see how the week went. Do a roundup and hopefully not fall asleep while on camera. If I fall asleep while on camera, I'm going to upload in this anyway. I don't care. And you can watch me sleep soundly. All right. Here we go. Without further ado and further waffling, this is Eurodollar. Here's the 4-hour count. I'll go for the daily count. To heck with it. ABC daily count. Maybe it's a failed C wave that we've got right now, or some sort of running flat, maybe. We'll see. But I wanted to see the end of this C wave for a long time. But anyway, I have ruled out the idea, even though the triangle idea still fits. It does. We have a lower high. We have an A wave, a B wave, possible lower high C wave. So the triangle idea does fit. But I have been reluctant to, let's say, switch back to that again. But we'll just see how it goes. From here on out, even if this is a triangle, we should see, let's say, a continuation of the contraction, range contraction that we've got going on for years now. Right. If we've got a C wave complete, then we should head lower in 5 waves, pretty substantially lower, down below, down below 116, 115, I'd say at a minimum. That'll be a break of the previous 4th wave there. So that's kind of where I'm heading right now. Whether we get there or not is another thing. This pattern off the high, I think it's reasonable. Apart from, let's say, this 4th wave here. Although after having another look at it this evening, we may have a candidate for another, let's say, running flat here. So it might be an A, B. Come back here, you bugger. An ABC. So we could have a wave, let's say wave 3 finished here. A, B, C running flat, and then a nice move lower today in wave 5. So it's possible that we have 5 waves down, but maybe another step lower. I did expect a kind of a larger move up in wave 4, let's say, to challenge that 122.22 level again, and then move down in wave 5. But maybe we're getting there closer to the finish line than I previously thought. And now those kids heading up the stairs again. So hey, now you know what I mean. If we were to go 1, 2, this wave 3 would have to be within here. 4. See, look at that now. I hope you can't hear that. This is going to severely distract me. This video. Okay. Now, this is a pound. I'm going to move on. Well, Eurodollar. Oh. Right, I'm going to keep going. They stopped. And I'm uploading this video anyway because I'm too tired to do any editing. I'd have to go chopping up the whole damn thing and sticking it back together, and that's a pain in the bum. Right, here we go. Here is cable. I'm moving on. I'm just going to brush that under the carpet there, and I'm going to move on. I hope you guys are laughing and gals are laughing too. You kind of got it. All right. Here we have pound dollar. This is I'll go to 4-hour chart first. Again, looking at a kind of a long-term triangle kind of scenario in pound dollar, and we've just been kind of eking out some sort of a high for the last month, or even you could even say a couple of months at this stage, because we're pretty much just cresting the top of the hill here, and we haven't had any severe move lower yet either. So if this is a C wave top that we're kind of carving out here, I'm looking at an ending diagonal being the only viable pattern for a fifth wave. We could probably trace out 3 waves internally on each step up. We've got 5 internal waves. I think we probably will see one more, even though, let's say technically Thursday's high there, whatever that came in at, 137.09 or so. Thursday's high does qualify as a top, but I was kind of thinking that we might get another drop into the lower trend line and then move higher again to trace out a clearer 3-wave pattern, kind of a more, let's say, proportional 3-wave pattern. And that seems to be what's happening right now. We had a drop today. We haven't quite reached the lower trend line. Maybe we'll get there early Monday and then head higher again in wave 5. Or sorry, that'd be wave C of 5. That'd be a lower degree wave C of wave 5. So next week, looking at this top out pattern, ending diagonal wave 5 in gray, and that'll be wave 5 of C. So let's see if we get an impulsive move lower next week. Here's dollar yen. So far, an interesting scenario off the low. I think promising for dollar. Haven't quite, let's say, ticked off some of the, let's say, waypoints that I wanted to see for a reversal to happen, and that would be initially it'd be a break of that previous 4th wave here. So it's a triangle 4th wave, and that comes in at about 104.54, 104.55. Excuse me. And I wanted to see a kind of a 1-2 pattern. Let's say the initial wave 1, I wanted to see kind of at least challenge that 4th wave high before turning lower in wave 2. We weren't so far below that. We came in at 104.39. 104.56 is where that comes in. That previous 4th wave you can see there. This is the hourly chart. I think we can track 5 waves up. A pretty reasonable 5 waves up. And within this 5th wave here, I think we have an ending diagonal 5th wave. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. With an overlap between wave 4 and wave 1. But everything kind of checks out pretty well on the impulsive move up. We've got 3 waves down in A, 3 waves up in B. I think we're still tracing 5 waves down in C, but I'll have to see on that one. This could also be maybe a triangle. Maybe it's a triangle 4th wave. Maybe this 4th wave is actually going to come in here somewhere. But for the moment, I'm sticking with the 2nd wave scenario. It's worked so far this week. We've got A down, B up, and C left to complete. Wave C should complete with a break of 103.51, or let's say call it 103.50 at a minimum. That brings us down to about 50% into that kind of Fibonacci support band there between 62% and 50%. That'd be, I would say, a reasonable retracement in order to kind of kill off any short-term bullishness that was there, and then we could start higher on the 3rd wave again. So we've got, I should redo that. 1, wave 2, forgive me, and then we would be heading higher into wave 3. So the idea is for a 2nd wave low to come in early next week, and then we head higher to begin a 3rd wave. I think if we break above that previous 4th wave with an impulsive looking pattern, that would probably indicate pretty strongly that a third wave is underway. I'd say a minimum target for that third wave would be, if we get in here, oh, I already have one there. Delete. If we got up to 105.30, that would bring us to equality. Let's say that previous spike high here back in November came in at 105.67. So yeah, would be good if you could break above that. That's kind of further down the road now anyway, so we'll just have to work on that bullish higher low next week. Here is, update that chart, man. Again, looking for the final high in the Dow. It seems reluctant to kind of give up any of the gains that it's cheated into gains over the last while. It's been a very non-impulsive pattern. I think the best way to describe it at this point is another ending diagonal. So I think we've got a triangle fourth wave here, and then ending diagonal fifth wave, and it's a very labored move higher, and that's about as kind as I can be to stock market right now. Here you go into the hourly chart. You can see here's a fourth wave. Actually, it's a running flat fourth wave that I've been looking at. Sorry, triangle fourth wave at a lower degree, third wave high, running flat fourth wave in green here, and then wave 5 in green has been tracing out, and 3 waves up in 1, 3 waves down in 2, possible 3 wave up into wave 3. That'll be 3 waves up here, and then a small B wave, and then 5 waves into wave C. So it'd be a 3-3-5 flat wave C. Not as pronounced as the previous though. So maybe, and why not throw that in here? Maybe this is all wave 3. So this could be wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we continue this contracting rise higher. Even so, this pattern here, I was expecting another low as an alternate fourth wave. That seemed to be what happened today. We had this spike lower into, let's say, that kind of swing low area of about 3,700. And now we're moving higher again. Thank you. Thank you. You're on camera. You shouldn't have come up. Say hi to the wife. So 3 waves down in wave 4, and then hopefully heading higher in 3 waves. Not hopefully, I don't want more highs, but that's the way the pattern seems to be heading. That's a pretty conclusive 3-wave corrective pattern. I had the previous low as wave 4 complete, but the alternate pattern was looking at this, let's say, one more dive to complete, let's say, a more standard flat pattern, because we couldn't work to a new high, which was slightly concerning last night or yesterday and Wednesday as well. So that was the alternate B wave down into alternate C wave. So now here we are with a larger 3-wave pattern in wave 4 and a spike higher again, which seems to be beginning wave 5. So again, 3 waves up in wave 5, and then we've got an ending diagonal pattern complete. I've been pointing out here this 3140 level, 31,140 level, and that just happens to be where wave 1 and wave 5 in green. Let's go to the 4-hour chart. So this would be wave 1 here, and wave 5 in green. They're not labeled here. Reaches equality. So you can see wave 5 in green is what we're tracing out here right now, and you can see at 1 degree higher here in blue, so we've got 3670. That's where wave 1 and wave 5 in blue come and reach equality. So you can see wave 1 there off the March lows, project that from the wave 4 low, and you get what are we coming out again? 3670. Right now, that seems to be acting as some sort of a support, and we're moving higher again. So we can, at least I can say that we are looking at the probability of 3 waves up, completing an ending diagonal. So again, it's a terminal move, and you can see here at today's low, the low of wave 4 did actually, where do we, depending on where we take the low, yeah, low of wave 4 just about pipped, I'd say, the high of wave 1. And you could take wave 1 as here also. In that case, we broke substantially below the high of wave 1. I've always been kind of working with this wave 1 high of at this point here, and then an expanded flat wave 2, but you know, it's interchangeable there. Onto today, we've had a reasonable rally up off the low, so looks like we're heading to new highs next week. Okay, here is the count in gold. I think today I am favoring this alternate wave B pattern. And here, here's, well, that's not bad. So we have 3 waves down in wave A, and A, B, C, running flat wave B, and then maybe 5 waves down in wave C. If that's the case, then we are probably looking pretty hairy over the next few weeks in gold. It's still probably not enough to fully switch to it here on the 4-hour chart, but I think it's enough to be very valid, or very, I'm not going to say concerned, or what's the best way of putting that? To look at least realistically at it as a possibility that we're going to drop below, or drop into probably the probably the 1700s handle again. And in saying that, you know, we're not even far off that at this point. That we reach about that 1700s, that lower trend line again, to complete a 4th wave. So this would be a very long, drawn-out 4th wave, which is, I suppose, not uncharacteristic either, is it? I've been looking at this as a let's say a developing first wave. If you are to look at the 4-hour chart, you could probably call this low here the initial first wave, but it seems quite small in comparison to what happened previously within the pattern. So I mean, if this initial move down off the high is wave 1 of wave C, we would probably have to move wave C much lower in that case. I'll do that right now and just kind of play with that idea for a minute. We have a previous 4th wave here at 1669. So maybe we break even into the 1650 area to complete wave C. So that'd be wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 waves down in wave C. Painful as that is, it was always a possibility. I had been kind of oh, that is nice. Non-alcoholic. If I was to be drinking a hot whiskey there now or something, I would fall asleep. Although I probably need a hot whiskey. That's a good idea. Thanks for telling me. Get back on track now. It looks like a developing 5-wave pattern lower. This could be a triangle, even though that wave D and E would be quite small. This still fits. Could be a triangle 4th wave, and then an impulsive spike lower today in wave 5. So maybe we've got wave 5 of wave 1 completing here. You would expect then some sort of a 3-wave rally back up to between 1860 and 1900. 3 waves up. Wave 2, significant decline in wave 3, then probably the week after next, to bring us down below this swing low here at about 1760. And then, we're open to, once we get below that low, things probably start to get more favorable for, let's say, building position, or not even building position, but getting ready to put on a position. And I think this would be a long-term position in gold. That's what I'd be looking for anyway. So it looks like today has kind of cracked the bullish pattern, and it's time to think about the next significant low that we'll reach. And I think, it'll be more favorable. It'll definitely be more. It'll be more favorable in terms of like a sentiment scenario, because if we get down below 1700 again, I think that would crack the kind of the narrative, the bullish narrative that has been built over the last few months. Let's say, no, over the last year or more. And I think that would open up a position to go, or open up kind of the environment to be more favorable towards a long-term bullish view, to kind of wipe away the fluffy sentiment, and then to turn bullish. And I think this will be a long-term bullish move. I think this will be a fifth wave, and it could even be a third of a third if you're going to look at that alternate count. But I think it'll be a fifth wave, and I think it will be probably bring gold towards 3,000. So you could be looking at close to a double, and that'll be over the coming, let's say, year. Once this final dip down, and this could be over by the end of January, and then fourth wave will be in position, and we could work higher then again into a large degree wave 5. So that's wave 5 in blue up here. Okay, so next week, watching for maybe a 1-2 to build, and then we would turn lower into a third wave, which is sad, but it's just the way it is. I would have to rejig this previous count here, so that's what I was looking at, a 5-wave move higher in wave 1, and then a second wave, but it looks like that is out the window, at least preliminarily out the window today. And we're turning towards that alternate count, and we'll see wave C make further lows. Okay, let's move on. Crude oil, I don't have much to say about crude oil actually. It does look like a 3-wave move off the high so far. I still think we're poking for a high. We're searching for one in wave 5. Not sure whether we've got there just yet. We've got 3 waves down. Let's see if that develops next week. I can't really say much else until we get at least a reasonable decline that breaks out of this rising wedge pattern. Okay, so S&P, again, another market that's searching for a high. The S&P, we're pretty much moving in lockstep, all stocks right now. Let's get in here. We have a 5th wave in blue here that's kind of churning away and searching again in an anti-diagonal pattern that's searching for that final high. You see on the daily chart, we're coming off a significantly overbought position, and we seem to be cooling down now. Actually, in terms of, we've still got this bearish divergence in place. We've got that for months and months. On the 4-hour chart, more importantly, to one of the next, let's say, month to 2 months, let's say, the 4-hour chart would be more momentum on the 4-hour chart would be more important in that scenario. So we've got again a significant bearish divergence in place for a good while as this fifth wave, and typically that's what you expect as a fifth wave is finishing, a pretty high degree fifth wave at this point. And as we get to the hourly chart, we've got that serious divergence, but it doesn't really make a whole lot of odds right now. It looks like we've got within wave 5 in green here. We've got wave 1, 2, 3 waves down in wave 4, and wave 5 now probably underway off the low here. So we've got filled out a kind of trend channel. We poked below that again, and we should move higher in 3 waves up in wave 5. We will make new highs. It will exacerbate the already stretched position in terms of momentum, that is. I don't see it any other way at this point. The pattern is way too overlapping to be considered any other way at this point. Okay, that's the S&P. Next week, looking for this final high. And on silver, we got a step lower today. We're moving down in a C wave in silver again. So it looks like gold and silver, I thought they might have been creating some sort of divergence over the last couple of weeks, but it looks like gold has actually moved back towards its younger sibling here, pattern in its younger sibling here. You can see that large B wave, A, B, C. It's a pretty standard flat pattern here in silver, and we moved impulsively off that. So it looks like we're moving down in a 1-2 pattern here, head lower into a third wave of wave C. Actually, wave C. Again, this is going to be another significant buying opportunity, like nothing more than that, or nothing less than that. Let me get that trend channel in place. So the trend channel is still pointing towards probably $19 after a 5-wave decline in wave C. So if we get into $19, I think that'll be a significant buying opportunity. If we go for the weekly chart, here you can see what I'm looking at is a 1-2 pattern, and overall this C wave should head higher throughout this year and will probably break the all-time highs again of about $50. So you're looking at least a double, heading towards a triple in the price of silver over the long term. Back to the short term here, we've got this wave 1 high, 3 waves down in A, 3 waves up in B, 3 waves down in, 5 waves down in C is what I'm expecting. If we go into the hourly chart here, you can see I've got wave 1 and possibly wave 2 done at today's or yesterday's high, excuse me. But we could also be looking at an A, B, C pattern. So I won't discount that larger second wave just yet. The fact that we're moving lower quite sharply today, and it seems to be an extending fifth wave pattern. Sorry if I'm moving. Yeah, I'm moving the camera around. Forgive me, I shouldn't do that. I'll just get out of that hunched position. So let's see. This could be a second wave complete, and then heading lower into wave 1 of wave 3 today. If we break 2430, that will indicate that wave 1 is underway, and then we'd expect again a bearish lower high in wave 2 somewhere towards the middle of next week. Okay, let's move on. Bitcoin has just made me cringe and grin and laugh. I remember a few months ago I was talking about that I was expecting a rally, a minimum 13,800, possibly 15, 16 as a C wave. Boy, did I underestimate that to the point of like a cringe-worthy hand in palm moment. But either way, this is probably the bubble of the century. Up there with the bubble of the last 1,000 years. This is up there with the tulips. And interestingly enough, The tulips turned out to be nothing more than a bulb, hey? That was not very valuable. I don't know how a data entry, a set of ones and zeros on a memory stick can be as part of a chain of a set of ones and zeros on another on another data bank somewhere, or saved on a server somewhere that someone can hack and someone can take from you, and that no one is going to complain if they do. I don't know how that is valuable. And again, this being the bubble of bubbles seems to be breaking quite quickly. Now, I was showing some. I wasn't doing research per se, but I was just looking and poking my nose into some of the more interesting articles that I've seen on Bitcoin of late, and I was posting them on the nightly updates, the charts and the whatnot. There was one interesting study, a short study that was done, and I think Jesse Felder tweeted it out. It was very interesting to read. And just that, along with a Bloomberg article about the Bloomberg whales and the positions that they've built up. It was the whales that built this rally, and I think there's a whole lot of fraud in this rally. It seems to be. There's pretty convincing evidence pointing towards a very large scale and complicated fraud in generating this rally. But when you take the simple statistic, which shows that 2% of the wallets, let's say the Bitcoin addresses, holds 95% of all Bitcoin. Like, I remember people were saying that this, Bitcoin was the democratization of money. I think that was the term for a while there. They probably got rid of that term now because it's not so because that ain't so democratic, is it? That is, that ain't the democratization of money. So 2% or 95% of all the Bitcoin wealth is held by 2% of the players in the Bitcoin market. 95% of all the Bitcoin wealth is held by 2%. Talk about a 1%. Sorry, rephrase that. Coin that again. Talk about a 2%. That is, wow. That's big. And on top of that, the crash, the 25% crash that we saw last early this month, late December, early this month. When did it start? Call it right into January, actually. Maybe some tax loss selling there, hey? Or sorry, tax bill. Getting some cash for tax. Would you, if you just humor me for a second, if your holdings had tripled in value, or in some cases quadrupled in value over the last 2 months, the previous 2 months, quadrupled, went from 10,000 up to 42,000. If your supposed wealth had quadrupled in 2 months, would you be considering kind of cashing some of that, into hard cash, something that can be used, in the economy? I would say you probably would be kind of pushed towards that. It's kind of like the breaking of a cartel. And don't be surprised to find out that these guys aren't very in tune with one another and talking with one another. Don't be surprised to find that out at all. And, when all this comes out in the wash, when Bitcoin is gone and criminalized and probably, and I have nothing against experiments. I really don't. Believe me. Nothing against Bitcoin, but it just screams bubble, man. So here was the kind of recent count that I've been showing at night. So we've got, I think, a 5-wave pattern lower in wave 1, and it seems possibly a 3-wave pattern up to fill a reasonable trend channel, and then a decline again today. Now, Bitcoin being Bitcoin, God knows what's going to happen next. Maybe they'll churn the spigot once more, and maybe they will. Those whales will manage to kind of push it higher again. Who knows? It seems interesting though that we have a possible 1-2 pattern, and we decline today out of the filled trend channel. But here's something that kind of I found interesting. An interesting thought this week. If 2%, if 95% of the Bitcoin is held by 2% of the participants in the market, who are they going to sell to? If they don't create a bubble, if they don't expand the greater fool theory, if we don't expand the amount of bag holders that there is, and they have to expand it exponentially. How do they do that? Well, you could create a bubble. You could, if you create a bubble, you get enough press. If you get enough press, you get enough people to come into the market, new players. But the higher the price goes, the less that these new players are going to be able to put down on the table. So the less they're actually going to be able to buy. I think it's probably it's probably a self-defeating scenario, really. If this is an artificial, well, everything's artificial these days. So if this is a bubble that's being created, let's say through some sort of manipulation, which there's reasonable evidence to point to that, they may have just bitten themselves in the foot, because they're not going to be able to sell enough to people to actually cash out of the market, because no one can afford to buy what they have or to exchange. You're not buying anything. Electrons. Hey, I have a way for you to get free electrons. Rub a balloon onto your head. There you go. Free electrons. Okay, sorry. That's a very crass remark. Maybe we're looking at a third wave down here. Let's see how that goes. I'm going to go to the Nasdaq. Again, we could have a 3-wave pattern here, but it could also be a 1-2-1-2 pattern. I'm looking at that with a very interested eye at the moment. If we've got, again, I think it was an ending diagonal pattern that I've been looking at lately. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe. It just so happens to kind of this rising wedge pattern seems to have brought with it a little bit of weakness at the top of it. So we have to see whether that holds next week. If we can pull, let's say, back below any of these spike highs here, so about 12,400. If we can break 12,400, that'd be very interesting. I think if we can break 12,250 at that initial wave 1 high, that'll be alarm bells time for the Nasdaq. Okay, the short-term pattern, you can see here, that's kind of the ending diagonal scenario that I've been looking at here also. There's just so many ending diagonals, it's hard to keep track of them. Wave 3 high, running flat, wave 4 high, then an A, triangle B, C, and then maybe a 1-2-1-2 that we're working out of here. But again, it could be 3 waves down for the moment. We have to break out of that corrective looking pattern over the next week and start moving back towards that 12,000, that key kind of 12,000 area. Okay, thank you all for hanging on with me today. I'm going to crack right on into tonight's update for you website members. It's been an interesting start to the year. I'll give you that. I've been doing a lot of musing on the nightly updates lately, and things are not looking good. So time to get good with God. Because the people that are moving into power again, they don't seem to care about much else but power. Okay. Have a good weekend. Have a blessed weekend. God bless you all. Thanks for watching. And here we go, moving to 2021. And victory is ours. Alrighty. Have a good one. God bless. Bye-bye.